Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's get started with the study of the Arabic language. Your first lesson is to learn about what kinds of words are there in Arabic. And it's a pretty simple lesson. The way I want to start this off with is just knowing that there are three kinds of words in the Arabic language. And let me tell you what that means. When you're reading the Quran, you come across these tons of words on every page and you don't know any of them. But the first thing you need to know is any of those words belong to one of three categories, category A or B or C, and that's what we're going to learn about today. You know, this is similar for those of you that are familiar with English grammar, and for those of you that are not, I forgive you, it's completely okay. But if you are familiar with English grammar, they say there are 8 parts of speech in English, and that's a complicated thing, right? Breaking down words in every sentence and figuring out which part of speech they belong to. The Arabic language has made this a lot simpler. It's just 3 parts of speech, meaning 3 kinds of words exist in the Arabic language. Any word that you come across in the Arabic language must belong to one of these 3 categories, okay? And so I'll first list them for you. I'll write them in English and in Arabic. The first one is called the ism. The second one is called the fi'l. And the third one is called the harf. So I'll repeat myself. That means that if you're reading the Quran, whatever word you're reading is either an ism or a fi'l or a harf. It can't be 2 out of the 3. It can't be a 4th one. It's got to be one of these. That's what it has to be, okay? And our first job as students of the Arabic language will be to identify which one of these 3 are we looking at. Is it an ism? Is it a fi'l? Is it a harf? To figure out what it means and what significance it has in an ayah. Sorry. Alhamdulillah. To figure out what it means and what significance it might have in an ayah, we're going to have to know which one of these 3 it belongs to. So this session is about defining these 3 and then seeing if we can figure out the ism and the fi'l and the harf, at least in English. Even if we're not getting to Arabic yet, the way that we're going to apply this today is to try to see if we can make sense of that stuff in examples in the English language. So let's start with the hardest definition, which is ism. That's the longest and hardest definition, okay? And the ism is basically the following. It's the name of a person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb, and more. Now that's a lot. Let's break that up. If you see the name of a person or the mention of a person, this could be something like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It could be Fir'aun. It could be, and of course, person goes beyond person. Any being, meaning Allah Himself, would be an ism. The word Allah would be an ism. It could be something generic like teacher or boy or child. It could be even a pronoun like you, because the word you refers to a person, or I refers to a person, or we refers to a person. So an ism is all of those things. Any word whose meaning is referring to a person, okay? Place is obvious, like masjid or Makkah or, you know, Texas or whatever. These are places, and anytime you see a place, that's an ism. Thing is also pretty easy. Computer's an ism, camera is an ism, you know, because these are objects, these are things. Rocks are ism. The sky is an ism. These are things. The it in the English language, anything that's an it is also an ism. The idea is where things get a little bit tricky. An idea is concepts that you can't touch, but you have names for them. Like, for example, Islam is an idea, justice is an idea, mercy is an idea, right? These are ideas, and we refer to them as it, right? Like I'm begging for mercy, I'm begging for it, right? So even though we refer to it as though it's a thing you can't touch. It's an abstract thing, right? Like truth or anger and those kinds of words. Those are ideas, and those are also considered an ism. Then things get a little bit more tricky. So we've got person, place, thing, idea, but then we've got adjective. And adjectives are things that describe other things. Like, for example, great religion. Great is a description of religion. Or, for example, if I say tall man, then tall is a description of the man. Those words are considered adjectives in the English language. They're considered a separate category than nouns. So far what I've talked to you about, a person, a place, a thing, or an idea, the English speaker calls all of that stuff a noun. But we cannot call an ism a noun because we've got more things going on now. We've got adjectives, adverbs, and more. That stuff does not belong under nouns in the English language. But it does belong under ism in the Arabic language. So this is important. I'm never going to call, as a teacher of the Arabic language, I'm never going to call the ism the noun, because it's so much more than a noun. If it was just a noun, then it would have been an ism is a person, place, thing, or idea. That's it, we're done. But wait, the ism is also an adjective, which is definitely not a noun. And it's also an adverb, which is not a noun. And how do we know an adjective is not a noun? Let's think about that. Nouns in the English language can be plural. For example, a boy can become boys. Or car can become cars. But if I say blue car, and I make that plural, do you say blues cars, that you make blue plural too? You can't, because adjectives don't become plural. Adjectives stay what they are. Adjectives can, in the English language, you can have gender associated with them, or certainly numbers not associated with them. They don't change. If it's, for example, a nice boy, or it's lots of nice boys, or nice girls, the word nice didn't change at all. But in the Arabic language, it is actually going to change. It's going to be treated like a noun itself, which means we're not going to call it a noun. We're just going to call it an ism. So once again, examples of adjectives are colors like green, blue, yellow. It could be things like size, like big, small, skinny, fat, etc., etc. It could be other adjectives like beautiful or ugly, and all of those are adjectives, and those are also part of the definition of ism. Then you've got adverb, which sounds like this thing that you can only know if you're a geek in the English language. It's pretty simple. Think of it this way. Words that, in the English language, words that end with ly, like quickly, or slowly, or happily, or reluctantly, or, these kinds of words. These are all adverbs. Now, what's the purpose of adverbs? They just tell you how something happened. Like, I walked slowly, or he drove quickly, or they spoke reluctantly, or they acted angrily, etc. All of those words just describe the answer to the question, how. How did it happen? Thisly. Okay? Slowly, happily, angrily, etc., etc. Okay? The ly doesn't work all the time. Like a word like lovely is not an adverb, because obviously lovely is an adjective. A lovely house. A lovely story. But most of the time, when you see ly, it's probably an adverb. Okay? So that's person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb. And now I've added a word, more. We don't have to deal with that because we'll deal with more when we get to more. For now, just stick it into your definition. What I'd like to do now is for you to close your eyes and see if you can say this definition with me without looking. And even if you open your eyes, I took it off the screen. An ism is a person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb, and more. Before you go any further, pause this and see if you can say it to yourself, okay? Person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb, and more. And you also have to come up with examples for each. So, person, myself. Place, Texas. Thing, computer. Idea, boring. Adjective, idea is not boring, sorry. Idea would be, I don't know, learning. Yeah, learning is an idea. Education is an idea. Arabic is an idea. And adjective would be boring or exciting or easy, like this is. Adverb, quickly, slowly, happily, reluctantly, loudly, lowly, etc., etc., or slowly. And then more, we don't care. We'll deal with it when we get to more. That's your definition of ism.